Welcome back. I am still John Baldino, and that comment alone has caused half of our viewing audience to turn the channel. For those who are left, I am John. I am joined by John and John. John Schugard, who everyone by now knows. This is your... I've lost count of how many times.
I have also lost count.
Okay, John's been on the show a lot. And making his debut appearance on the show, John Morris.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Now, these are not two random people who wandered off the street. The show is The Mystery of Irma Vep, happening at Actors Circle at Providence Playhouse. Now, you guys have done this before.
Yeah. Did it at Showcase Theater, how many years ago?
Oh, I don't know. Was it 2000?
It was either 2000 or 2001.
Okay.
So it's 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah. No, it's got to be 2000, but I'll go into why I remembered that later. It's not the best story in the world. So, but we did it in 2000 Showcase, and from that moment on, when that show closed, because we had so much fun doing it, we talked about reviving it.
And it just took you 4 years to do it.
Took us 4 years for another board of directors to say,
let us do it.
Yeah, let us do it.
So the answer was Actors Circle at Providence Playhouse. What is it with this show that was so great for you, but that other theaters were afraid to take you?
It's great, and it's just guys running around in dresses. You know, it's just.
And that's why John is dressed the way he is. By the way, he showed up in his dress, and we wouldn't let him on the set.
Yes. No, it's just a lot of fun as an actor. You get to do there's a lot of improv-y, ad-lib stuff that we get to do, and the script itself is very funny. But like I said, we get to create things in which people laugh at, and it's great. It's just a great feeling.
Now, how many characters in the show?
What, 6, 7?
7.
No, maybe 8. 4 each. 4 each.
8 characters and 2 actors.
Yes. Good times. Good times.
Full of quick changes.
And that's half the point, like, as fast as you can go. And then I think I got the impression the last time we did it, it was almost as if, see if you can mess the other actor up. Not mess him up per se, but you know what I mean? Like, you got to sit out here and ad-lib until I come out changed.
So there's no script for the costume changes? It's more or less...
No, they
haven't. Or do you run out of script? Is that what happens?
It's just kind of written from one line to the next, and then they show up. It just is written from one line as your last character. This is your next line as the new character.
Wow.
So that person has to sit out there for however long a time and keep it going,
Sometimes you get lucky and you have moments where one character has gone off stage and you hear the other character off stage, which means one of us, while we're changing our clothes, is shouting out our lines as we change our clothes. There are moments, both of us have to do it. There are moments where we walk off stage and while we're changing, 2 characters we're playing have a conversation. So you have to go through that. And I mean, if you're doing that, then you can suddenly make the lines last really long as you're changing.
Because you can control it.
Because you can control it.
Now, I'm guessing you've got dressers and assistants backstage.
Absolutely.
That helps.
It wouldn't be possible without dressers and assistants.
It's one of those walk in and something is stripped off and you step into something else, which is pulled back up on you.
Especially if they're girls, that helps. It's a good thing.
I've done quick changes, nothing to the extent that you guys are talking about. Now, what's the actual story of the show? What is the mystery of Irma Vep?
Don't give it away.
Just tease us a little.
There's a Sixth Sense ending. There's a twist ending.
I have this big...
Do you see dead people?
No. I have this big urge to take you back to an award show where you stood in front of people and read an entire description of this while John and I sat there and waited for you to finish. But
I don't remember one word of that description that I read.
That's probably a good thing anyway.
I tuned most of that period of my life out.
The show is basically based on the Penny Dreadful Gothic horror novels of days old. So you've got the stately English manor and the rich lord and the new lady of the house and the gardener and the maid, and eventually we see a werewolf and a vampire, and then we go to Egypt and we see a mummy, and it's...
So it's a farce.
It's a total farce. It's a total
farcical.
And
a farcical, that's a farce in the winter? When it's cold?
It's just that to the nth degree. It's a farce to the nth degree.
There's no such thing as over the top. There's no such thing as too much.
That's interesting because you often hear in comedy less is more, and you can always take it one step too far and kill the joke.
True.
And that can't happen in this show?
I doubt it because it's just so silly.
Because the show itself is so over the top in the first place. I mean, the first thing you see on stage is John in a dress. And then I come out, we do a scene, and I leave, and you hear some dialogue. The next thing you see is I enter in a dress as a new character. So once you've established that, there's just no limits to how silly it can get. We found over the course of doing the show that it's not just a matter of, can we trip each other up? And we play games with each other to keep each other on our toes. But the show has a lot of technical requirements, light cues and sound cues and so on. And we discovered over the course of the first run that if something goes wrong, it's a new joke. And you shouldn't, usually the idea is, okay, hide it, that wasn't wrong.
Cover it.
Cover it. Now it's, that was late. Point it out because it will get you another laugh.
And don't we have John to thank for one of those?
We have John to thank for one of those.
A big moment that we resurrected for this show.
Really?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah, we're doing
touched
that
and
again.
honored. I was
Thank
called
you,
in
John.
to do lighting at the last minute because they had no one else, and I'm sure I was on the bottom of the list of people that were called. And now I understand why, because when I got there, I learned that as a lighting person, I couldn't see the stage. What a challenge that was. And to this day, I don't know what happened. I know that something occurred at the end of the show. I did something wrong.
What occurred at the end of the show, and I mean partially it was because of the way the light boards were set up at the time. I would be the first to say it was confusing.
Confusing. It was archaic. They were the big, giant,
I know, big levers.
wow.
But John and I finished the show. He said his last line, thank you, and you brought some of the lights down. And some of the lights did not go down. And John and I are looking at each other, and then I hear the sound man, who could kind of see the stage, whispering. It was so loud that I was all the way across the stage from him, and I heard him going, down, down. And I suddenly realized, wait a minute, John has no idea the lights aren't out.
So you're each playing 4 characters. Do you have a favorite?
The woman, Jane, the maid.
The maid.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
What makes her a little bit more fun than everybody else? The fact that you get to wear a dress?
Probably,
Yeah.
probably, and probably never will again.
There's other drag shows out there, John.
Yes.
Don't.
No, who knows, yeah.
Same question.
Same question. I don't know if I could pick. My 2 main characters are Nicodemus the gardener and the lady of the house, Lady Enid.
Something about being in dresses for you 2 being your favorites.
That's not the reason.
My favorite role was a nun. So
There you go. I wouldn't say it's just because it's wearing a dress and of course it's so goofy. I walk out in the dress and get a laugh.
comedy gold.
Comedy gold. It's just the acting challenge of playing these people who are so far removed from ourselves. 95 times out of 96, I think, we go on stage and we're pretty much reciting lines and we're being ourselves. We've been cast in roles that fit us and fit the people
The curse
we
of
are.
typecasting, yes.
The curse of typecasting. This is literally, you put the clothes on and you transform yourself and you become another person. I mean, with John, especially with Jane, he gets to do that. I get to do that with the gardener, who has a wooden leg, so I have to walk around with a special, with a gimp because I have a wooden leg. And then I'm turning around and being this over-the-top, helpless damsel in distress character.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times. The first time we did this, I think we stopped laughing at each other 2 days before it opened. We just goofed off for the entire time.
But it really is a good show.
Yeah, oh, it's an excellent
I
show.
swear, it's really good.
It sounds like it's, at the very least, a barrel of laughs.
That's the whole point of this show. This show is just to be funny.
And that was one of the biggest reasons, too, we wanted to do it again. So many people had come up after that award show saying, that was the funniest scene, we missed it, we wish, it's like, well, where were you when you...
Right, after the award show where we did a 5-minute sequence, which in my opinion, and I think in all of our opinion, is far from the high point of the show.
Really?
That 5 minutes that you saw at the awards, it's not the high point of the show. It's kind of a typical sequence. And John and I both, we walked up to each other at the after party, we were both like, if I have one more person come up and tell me, I wish I'd seen the whole show. So, ladies
here
and
you
gentlemen,
go.
here's your chance to see the whole show. We're doing it again.
It's happening, yes, they're doing it again at Actors Circle at Providence Playhouse. And it's happening it's actually going to preview on June 17th, and it's running the 18th, 19th, 20th, and the following weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For information, you can call 342-9707. And there is no website. Actors Circle doesn't have a website, do they?
I don't believe so.
Well,
I don't think so.
Google them, Actors Circle. But those are the details, folks. Weeknight shows are at 8 o'clock. Sunday shows are at 2. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, John. I appreciate it.
And hey, that's about it for us. But as we watch the closing credits, let's hear one more song from our musical guest tonight. Thanks. Good night.